Facebook and YouTube at PCGTV. Instagram, TikTok, and X at PCGTV Official. PCGTV. In thy light, there is light.
Peace be unto you. My name is Nacha Nyope, and every week on PCG TV, I give you the opportunity to hear from very prominent ministers of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana on the program that Personality Profile. It promises to be fun, uplifting, and everything you ever imagined in a show here on PCG TV. PCG TV, in thy light, there is light.
The peace of the Lord be with you. Welcome to PCG TV. It's Music Week celebration where we have an exclusive chat with the church choir and the singing band union. With me in the studio are two gentlemen who are going to help us understand what will be happening throughout this week as we celebrate Music Week. First, I have with me Mr. Timothy Achia Obin, who is the immediate past National President, Church Choir, and Mr. Ebenezer Obin, Ghana Presbytery Music Director, Singing Band. Gentlemen, welcome to PCG.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, we know it's Music Week, but before we go into what will be happening, I want you to tell our viewers something about yourselves. I mean, at least let's get to know you. So maybe you mention your name, and then you tell us where you're coming from, what you represent, and then we'll take it up from there.
So I'll greet all viewers this evening. And just like the host said, my name is Achia Obin. I worship with the Presbyterian Church of Ghana Salvation Congregation, New Achimota. I've been in the choir since 1985 and have risen through the ranks to become the General Secretary for Ghana Presbytery Choirs Union, and later on the President, and then moved on to become the Vice President of the National Union, and then the President of the National Union. Now I'm serving as an ex officio, being the immediate past President of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana Choirs Union.
Interesting. And Mr. Ebenezer Obin. I mean, can you also introduce yourselves to our viewers?
Okay, viewers, I will say peace be unto you, or I will say as from come. Sure. Yeah, I've been in the singing band since 1981. I was in the choir. I was a choir director and the choir master as well, and I joined it. I took up the singing band because my mother and grandparents were all there, and I had an interest. So I joined them in 1981. I started as a music director for the Tema Union. We sailed through all conferences here and there, the Presbytery and the Tema Union as well, and until 1994, when the Presbytery became the Tema became a Presbytery. That's the Tema in Accra joined as Presbytery. And so there too, I was appointed a music director. Yeah, so I served on the Presbytery as a music director for a long time until 95. Just the following year, the National Music Council invited me, so I joined the National Music Council at the national level.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we are Presbyterians, but you agree with me that not everyone knows about the church choir and the singing band and how it even started. So let me start with Mr. Achia Obin. Can you share with us briefly the history of the church choir? Something brief.
Brief, yeah. So the idea of these choirs started somewhere around the 1950s. So it was not until 1955 that the choir started springing up from some from Resurrection, Achimobuakwa area. And it was around 1958 that the choir came together as a national union. And for 66 years now, we've been enjoying that friendship as a national choirs union. So it was only this past weekend that we celebrated our 66th annual delegates conference at the Great Hall, Kumasi, hosted by the Asante Presbytery.
I see. Mr. Obin, is the Singing Band Union also 60 plus years, or you are less?
Oh, it's over 60. We celebrated our 60th anniversary in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
2016.
Really like 8 years ago.
Yeah, so it's now 68 years. Yeah.
And how did the singing band start? I mean,
And it officially was formed in 1956.
Okay.
But then the singing bands had actually started organizing as far back as 1905, we are told. Around the Aburim, those areas, Aburim and other Akropong and other towns, most of the towns, Afiriasi and other towns around there. Yeah. And coming up to around the 30s, that's 1930s, the first zonal singing band union was formed. That time they said they call it Akropong singing band, that sort of thing, with Dr. Otubuachin as a master here and there. But officially in 1956, when one Reverend F.W.K. Akufu actually initiated the formation of the union. Okay. That time it was a Kwapum Union, Santi Achim, let's say Kwapum, and Kwawu and Santi and other. I think there were 5 main unions there. Okay. Started with it.
We also know that in 2028, the PCG will be 200 years. Yeah. And I mean, definitely we'll be tracing how groups like yours have contributed to the development of the PCG. Maybe in a sentence or two, how would you say the church choir, for instance, has contributed to the development of the PCG? Before I go to Mr. Obin.
With music?
Yes, with music.
Yes. Our current Presbyterian hymn book. We have a lot of our members who constituted that committee to bring out the hymns, and also even translate them to other English, Ga, Adangbe, and all those stuff. Okay. Again, we've also been organizing music workshops to beef up the skills of music directors, to train them to help in teaching of especially our hymns and also anthems in the various Presbyterian congregations.
With the singing band being over 60 years, in fact, 68 years.
Yeah, 68.
What would you say has been the contributions of the union to the PCG as a whole in terms of music?
In terms of music, the singing band have actually done a lot, because most of the songs you hear with our composers all over the city. I mean, every congregation, our songs are there. You hear them whenever it's offertory time, and even at not only offertory times, but at occasions like weddings and funerals, and everywhere is the music, is the singing band. They fall on us, even more than my colleague, the choir. Yes, so with the composers, we have a lot. I'm part of the composers, and our work is everywhere. Our songs are everywhere. Yeah. So we have greatly done a lot to the Presbyterian Church in terms of singing band music.
Yeah. I can attest to that because recently the Joel Covenant congregation celebrated their 40th anniversary, and I was a witness to the kind of songs they sang.
Wow.
I was so impressed.
Okay.
On that note, we'll go for a break. Welcome back. We were talking about how the two groups have been contributing to the development of the PCG for all the years that they have been in existence. Now, I want to find out from them what they are doing to make either the church choir or the singing band attractive to young people in the PCG. I start with you. From what I have seen, the church choir usually is made up of people who are not my age. A lot of them older than I am. What are you doing to, make sure that we have young people, maybe even from the JY, joining the choir?
Yeah, we have something going on now that is Catch Them Young.
Okay.
And just like you said, it's starting from the JY. So we are targeting them to form these youth choirs. And most especially, we use them during a first service.
Okay.
And then maybe the regular choirs will come in the second service. I would attest to this from my congregation, Salvation Congregation, where we have a very vibrant youth choir, JY.
Okay.
And we give them the chance for them to minister during church services, just to give them that aura to perform.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started something and it's catching up all over. Okay. And we encourage all congregations to also take up the mantle and also form some of these youth choirs, especially the JYs. Let us give them the logistics, give them everything that they need. We have t-shirts for them. We sometimes also feed them during some of their practices, just to entice them to join the choir.
Mr. Owen, can we say same for the singing band?
Of course, we can say same, because formerly we knew the singing band, they say used to be of the old folks, but it's not so, and it's not becoming not so. So we are taking up every possible step to involve the youth, right from the, even not I won't say the children's service, but from the JY especially, and the YPG. Yeah. And so what we are doing is that some of the congregations have actually formed the junior singing bands.
Okay.
And influences and motivations, various forms of motivations are being put in there. Sometimes, somewhere they provide them with some t-shirts or some uniform. Maybe when they are going to conferences, they become part of the rehearsals and the team, and we pay for their transport and so many. Whatever, we involve them as well.
Okay.
And it's actually been a former music director at the national level as well. I'm also I'm always coordinating with the current NEC.
Okay.
That such forms of organizing, let's say, approaching the youth, must be put to work, so that it becomes a mixture of a combination of the young and the old, so that when the old faces are phasing out, we get the youth aspiring, to take up.
That's a good blend. Yeah. So now going deep into the activities for the Music Week, I just want to read this to you. The theme for the Music Week is Jesus Christ, the Alpha and the Omega. Shout for joy. Great is the Lord, the most worthy of praise. And it's based on Psalm 100, verses 1 to 6, Hebrews 13, 15 to 16, and then Acts chapter 16, verse 25 to 26. There's no way you can talk about music without involving the Psalms. But just let us know. So what has been lined up for the week? What are some of the things that you'll be doing to ensure that the week is properly marked musically?
Yeah, before I get to that, I want to acknowledge the efforts of some people who came together to put this Music Week together. Reverend Joshua Bosman-Ohini, the director, Church Life and Nature, at the GA office, his PA, Andy Omari. Not forgetting Reverend Mrs. Regina Odame Dankwa, Dr. Kojo Edumata, and Mr. Seth Day. They all came together to put these things together to make this Music Week a success. The theme or just like you mentioned, the theme. The Music Week is lined up to promote the learning of hymns and its singing to enhance the worship life of the church. If you look at the liturgy of the Presbyterian Church, for every item, there is music.
Yes.
So it's about 85% music in the liturgy. So it's a music-based church. So we also have to promote our heritage, that is the hymns.
Sure.
If we take time to listen to the hymns, see that there are words of encouragement in there. Now, for this year's Music Week, the first one is about launching of the Music Week, which will be on Monday, and then after that, there will be exposition of the theme. There are 3 hymns that have been lined up for all Presbyterian churches to learn. Hymn 72, hymn 22, and then 716. So at the end of the week, it is expected that all Presbyterian churches would have learned these hymns, and then we use it on that Sunday.
Okay.
After that, on the Tuesday, just like I said, exposition of the theme, and then learning of the hymns. We expect that all congregants would assemble and then learn these hymns. Because after that, there will be a music festival, hymn festival, that all groups, singing band, church choir, women's fellowship, men's fellowship, everybody would sing. And then there will be a music quiz. Again, on Sunday, there will be hymnology, where we need to understand why the hymns were written, who wrote the hymns, on what prompted them to even write the hymns. And so we are going to learn all these things during this 1 week.
All right. Is it the same program that the Singing Band Union will be putting up? I mean, are you doing this together, or you have a different program?
Oh, we don't have a different program. The committee is made up of the choir, the singing groups, the choir, the church choir, the singing band, and if there's any brass band and other singing groups, we get together to form a committee with the church agents, and we come out with a whole, we actually follow the program as outlined for us. Okay. And so the singing bands, usually whenever we get the program, we pass it all to the various presbyteries to be actively involved in everything. Okay. Yeah, because music is a major part of it, as my fellow read. Yeah. Absolutely.
And there's a point he made that I like so much. See, the Presbyterian hymns, some of them you have to listen to the words.
Sure.
I was just looking at one, hymn 603. The English, it was sung in church last week. If you permit me, let me just read a few lines. What I seek to say in this life, and whatever I shall do, I should ask what pleases Jesus, and do what shall please the Lord. And this is a part I like most. Okay. The verse 2. I should always ask the question, will Christ say what I would say? Would he sanction such a statement? Would he do such a thing? You know, sometimes you listen to the hymns, and if you are not careful, you will think it's just singing. But the words alone minister to you, and you know that it's not just a song you are listening to, but something that will also touch your life and change you if you are paying attention to it. Yes. On that note, we are going for another break. We'll come back. So we are still with the church choir and the Singing Band Union representatives here, talking about the Music Week activities and what they have for us on this network. I want to find out, so if I may be a PCG member, I may be part of a congregation, why at all do I have to take part in this Music Week celebration?
Well, if you are a member of the church and the church has come out with this program, the church knows that it is beneficial. That is why we need to learn our hymns. That is what we sing in church. So if you do not come and learn these hymns, then what will you be singing when you go to church?
Okay.
We have about 850 hymns. And by God's grace, the Church Choirs Union have been able to learn all these hymns in the past, because we have our songs booklets that we print every year, and we make sure that these hymns are serialized so that everybody learns it. So for the church, the whole year, if you don't learn any hymn at all, these 3 hymns that have been brought from it, please learn them.
Okay.
And again, I would encourage everybody, all the churches, for our communion services, if you can use our communion services to learn at least 1 hymn, that would mean 12 hymns learned in a year.
Yeah.
Together with the music week, 3 hymns, that will be 15. And then we'll be going ahead.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Mr. Obin, why should anybody be part of this celebration, whether the person is a PCG member or not?
First of all, we know after the Bible, our Presby hymn book is actually a whole Bible itself. Yeah. It gives a whole insight about the Bible. And so it's a vital aspect, it's a vital part of the spiritual life of the church, and even a heartfelt thing to every Christian, that we have to take the learning of hymns very important. Because even when you are idle and you take the hymn book, you can be going through it, whether you know the song or you don't know it. The words alone gives you a lot, inspires, not only inspires, but it's actually a spiritual thing. It lifts you up in spirit to the heavenly
realms.
Yeah, realm. So we are actually letting the singing bands invite even a lot of outsiders, non-Presbyterians as well, to our programs. And we ourselves, we are taking the learning of hymns very seriously. Every year, we have a number of songs we let our presbyteries learn for competitions here and there.
Okay, let me start this question with you. Are there any stories, found stories you know of the past or previous Music Week celebrations, which you would say are so good that if you are sharing to anybody, the person will be encouraged to, for instance, take part in this week's celebration? And here I'm talking about stories that you would say through music there was evangelism. Music evangelized to people, and for that reason they became part of the church, or they even gave their lives to Christ, not necessarily coming to the PCG.
Of course, music tends to be a form of healing. And I remember on instances when people, when at such functions, people get healed, and that they come to give testimonies.
Okay.
That the sort of words coming out of our hymns, and that sort of thing. When you give yourself to them, it actually heals. You might be sick, but just take the hymn book. You can be doing it, the singing and singing, but before you realize you are already healed.
Yeah.
I don't say don't go to the hospital, I beg you. But singing actually does a lot to the physical body, not only spiritually.
It works on the soul.
Sure, the soul.
As a food for the soul.
Do you have any other story that relates to what Mr. Obin just shared with us?
Yes. I would want to relate certain things in the Bible, music being used as a weapon.
Okay.
Jericho walls.
Jericho.
Yes. Again, it was used for healing. Saul.
Yeah.
Yes, and again, it was used to set captives free.
Sure.
That is Paul and Silas.
Yeah.
And even on that day,
that was a powerful one.
Yes, and even on that day, the jailer also converted.
Yes.
I quite remember in a place when, after Music Week celebration, we had to turn the whole thing into like song ministration and others. And one congregant, after the church service, came to say that, in fact, she's relieved. She has been relieved of certain troubles that In fact, her soul is even full. Yeah, so we should encourage the use of music in the church.
Okay. Before we go, in my church, in the course of the music week, there will be hymnology. Do you have any idea of congregations that hold such events? And maybe you can share the experiences, and those watching us can either relate or even learn from them.
Yeah, fortunately, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, we have some reverend ministers who have come out with books.
Okay.
Reverend Mrs. Regina Odamidankwa is one.
Okay.
And Reverend Patrick Ayesu is also one.
Okay.
They've gone back to research and given out the names of all those who composed the hymns, why they did so, and on what occasion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because one hymnology I witnessed, they will sing the hymn, and then a story is told, a background story is told of the hymn, and they are all brilliant occasions that I recall. Well, I'm going to take your last words, but before we do that, my producer is asking that we sing. Because it's music week, we have to sing at least a song for viewers to know that indeed it is music week.
Okay.
So I leave that to you. Maybe you decide on one song, and I'll be.
You be the conductor.
Yes. Sure. Wow. Okay.
So I think together we'll sing Presbyterian hymn 524.
Okay.
Fine.
We'll take the first stanza, and then maybe we'll read out the second, third, and fourth stanzas.
So 524.
524.
Chi.
So minfa minsapan yi minkoshia midimafo. It is a hymn that is about evangelism,
Okay.
and we need to be reminded that one day we are going to give account
Sure.
of whatever. So what are we going to show our maker when we go? Is it a soul, or we will go empty-handed?
That's nice. I mean, you haven't sung the song, but I can tell it's a nice song.
So we'll sing the first stanza, and then I'll read out the second, third, and fourth stanzas
Okay.
to remind all of us
Okay.
that of the great commission that we have a duty to perform here on earth.
Yeah.
So
So mi fa mi so mi fa mi sa pa yi min ko shi ya mi di ma fu o som pa nin ko nim di bena mi fa min ko ne di so min ko no sa pa so min ko shi ya mi di fu a mi re fa o gra ba ko po min ko mi ji fu eli. So the second stanza says, Miri hihim owumumpo, ma jinkwa no beje mi da, nanso se me den sapan hia no a, mani wu pi. Third one says, you, ma se me na nyina wo bone ne ani haw mu, afei de extra time here wo mu ni akayi. Me de chemi Yesu da. Then the fourth stanza says, Kristo manfo, mon kenya mo, emeye na de pada, mo modern ara. And sana owusum no aba.
this is a very powerful hymn, and also an evangelistic word out there to you that we are in the last days.
Yeah.
The best thing we can do for ourselves and for our church is to live for Christ. Even as we celebrate the music week, we are just reminding you that you have to give your life to Christ and live as He demands of us. This is where we end this exclusive chat with our reps from the Singing Band Union and the Church Choir, celebrating Music Week 2024. Hopefully, God willing, 2025, we'll continue the conversations from there. Goodbye.